Hello, folks. I'm the Red. This is Hollywood Animal, and last we left off, we were struggling with bugs. We were also planning on. We had just released another one of. I'm not sure which film we're on exactly, and we're also going to be losing some of them off the list. But the number of films we need, the 6 films we need to do in this series here with Wayne are Toxic Revenger, who I keep pronouncing as Toxic Avenger, but whatever. Um, we're writing another one right now. We had just released the other one, and so I just went off screen so I could just, do it. Uh, we're going a different direction with this movie. We've got some drama and romance added in with his love interest. Uh, it cuts into the comedy and the action. We were mostly still sci-fi. Is still in the Wild West. He beat the 6-shooter guy in the last one, so now we've got an undead villain. I'm assuming Jane here's the I'm writing Jane here as the one causing that with this cursed deal and evil transformation. And then we've got a star-crossed lovers, which if you don't know the term, it's people that can't overcome their differences. They have something that stops them from actually getting together. Romeo and Juliet being, I don't know if that's where the term originates, but it's at least where it's most popularized. Their families get in the way of them ever actually getting together. We obviously can't have our Toxic Revenger in some happy romance life. That's just a little weird. So Lacey here, his love interest, now named Lacey, he has to go on a long journey and leave her behind. Still in the Wild West. I think the next one will be the one where we go and have him go off to some other setting. But not quite yet. In the meantime, we are all 3 best films. 2 of the best cinematographers, 2 of the best actors, 2 of the best actresses, 2 of the best directors, both the same guy, all 3 best screenplay. Yeah, we're gonna win the Pollux. Of course we're gonna attend. I mean, how could we not when it's all on us? Why are you not holding a banquet? Also, why are you 2... I'm glad this film finally got through production. Take the flat 1%. You need the very best working on you. And you can take the very best our studio has to offer in terms of equipment. And honestly, I'm going to hit you as a button, but I'm going to wait for your post-production for our best team to come back out because you are such a good film. You want to raise? Sure. American Stardust actually coming out here. 2 stars from Southern Night. 5 stars from the Bone Grinder. Okay. 4 stars from Times. 4 stars Friday Partner. So this time it's Southern Night that's holding us back. What does Southern Night have to say? Does the film have any redeeming qualities? The only thing pleasing about the film is Albert Shirt's shining smile. So you just didn't like the film. Okay. You don't have anything particular to say about it. It is stale because It shared an element with Arise Again? Was that the last one in the Toxic Revengers sludge junk trash? I'm gonna go with the $6 million loan over the 18% because if we need a loan, we're $500 million, or no, sorry, half of 100 million. I'm not gonna do the math to go back to the billion. We have $50 million. If we have to take a loan out, we're already like really in it. Lydia Globe wants 700,000. That's fine. I'll rehire you. The Film Alliance is trying to ban 5-year contracts. I mean, we're mostly looking at that not happening. Place Under the Sun. We could throw a rap party. And you actually can get handed off to some secondary editors and composers because you're not a great movie. I'm gonna take a moment here before the Pollux comes out, and we're just going to start movies. I'm gonna try this one again. Cinematographer. Oh wait, hold on. The Sludge in the Sun. We don't want to touch Pete Hodges, Sue. Did I cut the sheriff out of the sequel? No, I did not. So Sue, Pauline, Pete, and Arthur. I remember that's our 4. And we gotta remember to leave them a soundstage. But you're an on-location shooter. Well, you might still want a soundstage for, yeah, some of this. Filming tech will be the Blue Term Vivid, our only color technology. For producer, 441 Billy. Director, Herbert. Detective, so it was Arthur Gray was the other one. For our detective, no, it's Forrest Jenkins. Why don't you? And then for our women, it's Pauline. And then Susan. I already gave Sue another job, so we might end up having to recast her. Anyways, whoops. My bad. For our love interest, Alma, why don't you take that? Get a rival here. I'm gonna say Bob Gray, and for our heartless bureaucrat, Charlie Graham. Okay. This was one of the movies that we had already run into trouble with in terms of it not going through production. Duelist Haven. Yeah, we'll start this too. For our cinematographer, that'll be Homer. For our soundstage, 8. I'm gonna try to shoot some of these on location. You're saying the jungle will take you a while. We can cut that down. Native settlement. We cut that down. The island would reduce quality. So those are the two that we are shooting on a sound stage. Continue. I don't know why I'm hesitating. For our producer, Clifford, you're at least 2 years. For director, sure, Herman can do it. We need 2 soldiers, or we need a soldier and an ancient evil, both played by women. This is historical, which Joanne is known for. And then we need an ancient evil. I'm sorry to be on the nose, but Lydia, why don't you be the ancient evil? And then I'm gonna let this tick here. Oh, we need to release something else. Martingale. Detective stories might go stale. Oh, and then the alcohol. I think I'm just going to eat the fine, assuming Finding Your Man does not have a detective as the lead. It does. Then I'm gonna wait. Uh, 4 weeks through, Sludge in the Sun. Your attendance is 20% of 5,000 is 1,000. So set up distribution. I'm gonna give you a couple thousand screenings. No rentals. I'm gonna rent 500 on that last week. Okay. 13% of 1,000. You're looking for. I'm gonna end distribution on this. You're looking at 100 and less. Timothy is good as a sidekick. Well known as a sidekick, I should say. I'm going to. I mean, you did very well. I want to kind of run performance analytics on this. Voting day for the ban. Oh, Bernstein is one of the ones pushing through. So I'm going to guess each of you are going to push 100. Oh, this is 5 film contracts. Not 5-year contracts. I care a lot less about that. I'm fairly certain. Yeah, let me read exactly what it says. It's prohibited to sign contracts with actors, directors, cinematographers, and producers for 5 or more films. This is not 5 years, which is the one that we're using. I'm gonna abstain. Oh, and you were trying to. You three were saying no to this anyways, so it's not going through. I got. I saw, we're banning, so we're stamping it red. Not how it works. Anyways, Harlan Star served. Hello, everyone. This is the 9th annual Pollux Awards. As always, I'm your host, Harlan Star served. Before we get to the awards, let's stop to take in the moment. Savor this brief period where none of you sad saps have lost yet. Too bad I can't last forever. First, nominees for Best Actor. The winner is Pete Hodges for his role in Eye of the Storm. Next, nominees for Best Actress, and the winner is Hazel Rice for Even If There's a Storm Tomorrow. Nominees for Best Director, and the winner is Daryl Warner for Flower Basket. Nominees for Best Screenplay, the winner is Terry Burgess for Paid in Blood. Nominees for Best Cinematography, winner is Homer Warren for Paid in Blood. Nominees for Best Film, the winner is Paid in Blood. This concludes the 1941 Pollux Awards. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next year. So, we almost swept them. It was just Flower Basket here. Civil War film with an ambitious woman. It was also not really highly rated in any capacity. And as a director, you're only 6 stars. I'm looking at the best release results, and like none of these were in good positions in their release. I'm just wondering about how any of that's calculated. Everyone got some experience from it for being nominated. We can pay our $2 million in taxes. Alma Jane's established as an action actress and an evil witch. And Terry wants a raise, sure. Although, by asking for a raise, Terry, and Pain and Blood is actually the most profitable film ever. By asking for a raise, Terry, you're gonna trigger me double checking if there's any better writers. 6.7. No, 6.1 actually. Which is not better than you, so you're safe. American Stardust, 4 weeks through, a quarter of 12 is 3,000. So let's give you 5,000. I'm gonna only go 1,000 on this. 5,000 here. And then we're gonna go 5,000 here, and that should be good. Story element, ace combat. We're going to have to do a movie about the war in Europe right now. I'm gonna have you finish this. I'm gonna double check our trash elements. What's this? Spirited young lady. We need dystopic future for this. An annoying suitor, a divorce. Oh, we actually do have an element here. I'm actually not gonna have you do that. I'm gonna have some crappier writer. You're a detective writer. Write me this detective movie. And luxurious banquet done. Audience analysis. So men. We didn't advertise enough to men. Should we have put it on the radio? And we didn't target enough to boys, although we did put it in Spice Mice. I don't know. Jane was just not quality enough as an actress, and our set design just wasn't enough. Oh, I forgot it. You know what? Banquet. That's all I have to say. One last job by Joe. I'm gonna have you stop. Crime of necessity from Terry. Who's bad enough? Terry is bad enough to warrant being the one to do the trash stuff. So, Terry, start this, and then Joe, what kind of writer are you? Action. We have an action movie we want to write here. An ambitious woman in Victorian England. I mean, I'm not sure the setting for action, but it is an action movie that you can write. The Joy of Toxicity. We're gonna just start it immediately. There's no hesitating on these. If I was to look for a different cinematographer, Cornelius would be a choice here. And I want you to shoot this entirely on the soundstage. You're gonna use the Flumen and film sound. If the costumes and prop would cause you to run over, then you can't use it. I'm gonna limit your extras to 100. For the team, your love interest to... Yeah, this is in pre-production. So we're gonna have to recast your love interest. Your sheriff was Wasn't it Arthur Gray? Arthur Gray. Yeah, here. Sludge in the Sun played the sheriff. Why didn't you get auto-populated? I really don't know. For producers... Dewey. And... Roger Watts here? Okay. For your love interest... I'm gonna look at Sue, and then... Pauline, didn't you play a part? Yeah, you're the right hand. Which... Why is... Betty... She was the villain's right hand. I'm going to say, let's give this back to Pauline. And then for a love interest, I could say Irene. And then for the undead, Jane, we're not going to give you a lot of roles from here on out, so why don't you take this one? You're just not naturally skilled, but maybe you can learn. Maybe you can learn back into a place of... And everyone lived happily ever after. It's not a bad ending. I mean, romance. We have a... I'm looking at this and I'm hating it. No. No. I'm not doing that. It's too silly. I'll have you write this, sure. And then... Let's double check. Ooh. Wayward Soul, Undead. There's a... I don't know how I mixed up the Mars and Venus symbols, but I was like, oh, interesting. Wayward Soul and Undead, both women, and then Femme Fatale male. I don't know why my brain did that, but it just did, and I was like, wait, hold on, what? Wizard. There's a shootout. You know, I'm gonna purchase and shelve this. It's just too good. Female silhouette. This could get up to 7 stars. There is... I'm gonna say all men's movie, generational conflict. There's some sci-fi elements. Why is it called female silhouette if there is literally not a single woman in the entire movie? You know what? I know why. That's just how it's done. And you've got elements that we can't... I'm... First, commercial motives. This is a movie that I might rename. If I have you take a security officer... Yeah, you can shoot with a second crew. I'll know what else to name it. Oh, this here. During rehearsals, cinematographer came up with the idea that will make the horse chase scenes more compelling. The director loves the idea, but the lead actor will have to spend twice as much time in the saddle. It's gonna annoy Bob Gray, but everything else is good. And there's also literally no choices to be made there. Howard Globe in Finding Your Man. New story element. Everyone learns a lesson. Finding Your Man is an A at the Kino mark. Bone Grinder, 1 star. So, it's gonna be a medium film. It's got a couple of 4 stars in there, but this is coming to be our standard quality. And it's gonna lock a bunch of things into being stale. A bounty huntress. Wait, Martingale, wasn't one of the elements for you going to become stale? Protecting the witness. Okay. First, writers. We've got romance and sci-fi. So I mean, Dejected Idealist sounds like romance, right? And Civil War. Let's give that to our historical writer. And then, how long would it take? 79 days. The Joy of Toxicity might literally finish filming. Well, it won't finish coming out. Maybe it will. I'm just not going to give him anything to do in case I need to use him to write the next sequel to The Toxic Avenger. And I'm just going to keep calling it The Toxic Avenger. I don't care what it's actually called. It's just, it rolls off the tongue so much easier than The Toxic Revenger. Martingale, you were a Victorian England sci-fi, and we were planning on eating the penalty. I like that one. The clock makes me think sci-fi. I thought you were... The thing was, I thought that you were... going to... be... competing with things. I'm gonna say this is for older audiences. Let's put it in the newspaper, and I think it'll appeal to men more than women. I'm trying to care less about the fact that it's all... so many things are saying it's for... Yeah, I know we're gonna violate the rules. I guess I shouldn't be upset at that warning. That it's better to have the warning and not need it than need it and not have it. Scripting department's gonna start chewing out new story elements for us. And I'm gonna check this. Only gonna be a few years. And then we'll be able to do top tier scripts. Sludge in the Sun, 16% of 5 is 50. I'm gonna say setup distribution. For any week in which you don't have to rent anything, you can have 200 screenings. Duelist Haven. Can start production. You get a security officer. You get... I don't think a second unit is necessary for you. I don't like the hang there. Oh, it's auto-saving. Maybe that was what's causing the hang. American Stardust, 8 weeks in, is doing 3% screenings. Those are in the hundreds. Yeah, you peak week 6. Oh, you peak because we cut down the amount of screenings we were giving you significantly. Never mind. I'm gonna say... $1,000 screenings. The Joy of Toxicity. We really dragged that up. Start production. You get second unit, crucial only, minimal takes. Yeah, do it within 2 weeks. And I know I'm tapping the pause there in what feels like a really unnecessary way. The Bounty Huntress, you were a quality film. Let's give you all the quality we can. Are you gonna cooperate with me this time going through production? Let's give you your security officer. You do kind of need a second team. Second filming team. Finding your man, 4 weeks. Quarter is 3,000. Let's call it 5,000. I'll give you 1,000 rentals. Don't want to miss a single day. It looks like we're not having the same bug we were last time. Yeah, throw a rap party. I know I upset you by having you just work the entire week. Yeah. Again, quickest you can. 5 days. 4 days. 5 days won't affect anything. 5 days it is. And if we look at this, this is 3 Rise from the Sludge. That's gonna... Wait, what? Why isn't it fallen off already? Anyways, it looks like we're really speeding up the... And then, yeah, the writer here. Milton, you're just... Again, this is a pretty meh movie. Martingale. It's releasing. We can end distribution on this. Sludge in the Sun, I don't really care what your performance analytics looks like. Yeah, if we're looking at our writers, I think it's plausible that Milton here would not have finished writing. We would have had someone else finish, Joe here, but Ernest. This is a B movie. B plus. The Kino mark. The Bone Grinder liked it. So maybe it will win awards? Okay, they've expelled us from the Alliance. So we don't have to worry about any of these. Okay, well, here's the thing. We won't have opportunities to win the Pollux anymore. Oh, I mean, this is a small penalty, genuinely. 1,000 influence. I'm... Actually. We're gonna have someone level 2 doing it. I want them on Gurn's team. And then... There we go. Maybe I didn't need to immediately rejoin, but... I still did so. Also, Homer... We're gonna start murdering some people. You need to get better at your work, though, before we do that. They just keep beating our people up. And I can't give everyone an agent to protect them. And apparently the agents on set aren't protecting them. Place Under the Sun. There's a hopeless romantic in Victorian England versus a serial killer. And it's women-led. Let's go with that. Okay, so if I was to say Irvine, the soonest you could do it was there. If I say make it... Let's make it this week. I'm gonna go 24. Let's add a 0 to that. I feel bad if I try to run against, this Martinez, that studio, because they're one of the little guys. They're one of the small fish, and we don't need to be doing that. We don't need to be punching down. I'm gonna say this might appeal to women, probably older audiences. I'm gonna put the newspaper and billboards. And Plymouth. Another nothing burger of a script. Honestly, I wish, even if they were bad scripts, even if they were just like randomly generated, like literally pick everything randomly, I wish it would produce scripts as large as you can write. I mean, maybe not all of them. Maybe like have it randomized between 5 elements, which is, I think, the minimum that you can ever be capped at. And cap between 5 and then the maximum that you currently are capable of. I don't think you can lose the capability to produce things, right? Like, that can't roll back. So the producer on this, Jack, you have a contract, or your contract's up soon enough. I'm worried about that. Bruce? Carl, you have a contract through mid next year. Sure. Director, Anthony, why don't you take this one? We need an ambitious woman to star. I'm going to say, let's give that to Melo, and then an undead woman. Hazel, you can do that. And then I'm gonna start another project here. We have a lot of women-led movies right now, so I'm looking for Cave of Wonders. This is a weird one. Jesse Stewart, you're good on location, and this has to be entirely on location because we've run out of sound stages to use. Filming tech, take the blue term, take the frame tone pure. Max out your crew expenditures. Dewey, you don't have enough time on your contract. Jack, neither do you. Bruce, I'm looking for someone who has at least until 42. Roger, you're early 42, as is Joe. You know what I'm gonna do? Wow, you don't... I mean, you're a horn dog, which may come to bite us in the ass in some capacity or another. But you're otherwise asking for 400,000. And then as a secondary, Vincent, why don't you join him with this? Lewis, lovable rogue. Oscar with the mustache is honestly silly looking. You know what? Because you made me laugh. Foster, you take this. And then patriarchal figure. We would be looking for someone in their 60s, which Edward... Start project. Yeah, let's roll on. Vacation ends in death. Shelve this project. For our writers, we have a horror... you know what? I know this is a bad script combination. I'm gonna trash it. And then any writers who's not writing other than our Toxic Revenger writer, Milton there. Oh, the Joy of Toxicity is done. How long has that been done? I hope not long. Honestly, I'm gonna pick this one sight unseen without thinking about it too much because colors and the thing in the background looks like it can be some kind of toxic thing. If I said Irvine, I wanted you to do... No, you still take let's go 12,000 screenings across the board. Advertising. Something like that. And then confirm. And we need to wait for that to finish. Shelve this. We do have an open... That's not what I'm trying to click on. An open soundstage. So I'm going to throw another movie into production. Again, most of our women, most of our actresses are tied up in production right now. Actually, I'm gonna wait just so because this is only a couple of weeks. I'm gonna wait for the Joy of Toxicity to come out. American Stardust is end of distribution. You got 0%. Go ahead and give me a performance analytics on this. Song of the Ancestors. What kind of movie are you naming that? Parent in invisible clothes. Father or mother who shamelessly walks around in front of everyone in invisible clothes. Okay. If we can afford 1,000 screenings for this any given day, you can do it. Otherwise, the Joys of Toxicity are going to go ahead and come out here. Bone Grinder rightfully giving it 1 star. Utter trash. 1 star, 2 star. Toxic Revenger is becoming stale, but like there's nothing we can do about that. I mean, I guess we could shift to a different trash element, but I'm not going to. What we are going to do, however, is go ahead and this is not the button I want to click. It's Story Workshop. Create a sequel to The Joy of Toxicity. Woman in the Grave. Oh wow, you haven't finished, like, it. My bad. I'm again looking at these numbers as if this is your full done thing, and it's not. Toxic Path. I'm gonna actually say, rather than path, Toxic Trail to Walk. Yeah, we could swap out Wayne here. I'm not going to. If it gets stale, that's just going to be the thing that happens. So you're in the Wild West. We've done Victorian England. I'm gonna say modern America. Let's walk into modern America. I don't think I want to have you in the Civil War. I mean, we could, but like, I think you're close enough. We're close enough to finishing this trials. I think we're on pace to do so. I don't know for sure though. Maybe I'm just wrong, and I'll start from scratch at some point down the line here. Let's drop the drama. Actions minimalized at this point. Maybe a little bit of adventure. Going to do Jane and Mr. Harger can disappear. Protagonist finds love. He's gonna refine Lacey. What was the last ending that we had? Oh, it was that okay, so plot-wise, the woman in the grave ran off. That's why he had to take the long journey, because he has to be the one to defeat her. And then Lacey's gonna come back later in this movie. Long journeys, definitely a theme. Let's grab some more new characters. Let's grab a sidekick for him. And an arrival. Let's hello? Game? Okay. Well, I guess we're not using whatever those elements are. I mean, I can see from hovering over them, but Final Showdown, I don't think... And maybe Evil Transformation. I don't think there was any elements that I preferred to write into this. So... Milton, go ahead and write it. As for our other writers, we have a comedy Fantasy Kingdom movie, which I'll give to Felix. The rest of you bozos, however, keep fetching ideas. And we're gonna go ahead and I think we're gonna put a little stop here. How far are we along? We've got 4 out of 6. I don't know if this is, like, I don't know why this is still here. Like, shouldn't this fall off the list? I don't know. In any case, I want to check. Have we had a trash film that did 1.5 million views yet? Can I see the views here? Is Sludge in the Sun still... No. Release films. Sludge in the Sun. Never got a top spot or anything like that. Is the only way to check doing the performance analytics? I'm gonna performance analytics this. And Arise again. But as I was saying, we're gonna go ahead and put a little break in here. The game's running smoothly, so I'm gonna run a few more episodes myself, purely just to go, hey, the game's not bugging out right now for me. Let's make sure to keep playing as long as we can, so it doesn't bug out on some later playthrough. I mean, these aren't turning red, which is like always a thing where it's like, why is that happening? In any case, if you've enjoyed this Let's Play so far, go ahead and leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you next time where we will continue playing Hollywood Animal.